Hello and welcome back to ManaTutor MTG, where we open up all the vintage MTG boxes you haven't been able to get your hands on. Today we do not actually have a box opening because the transaction happened in person, so there's no box to open. But I had met a seller over eBay who happened to live very close to me. I had done a box opening with them in the past, again, a transaction in person, and this is a seller who deals with storage units. He has storage units in the area that go unpaid or get abandoned, things like that. It might go down like it did in Storage Wars way back in the day, if you remember that show. I don't know. I don't have all the background, but that's his hobby, is getting items of value from storage units and flipping those over to sellers like me, collectors like me, investors like me, etc. And so I'm his Magic the Gathering contact. We do all our transactions in person at a safe exchange zone, which is basically a local police station that's monitored with cameras and lighting 24 hours a day for doing online exchanges, things like that. And most people will have a local police station that will do this kind of service. The police station doesn't actually need to get involved. Yes, you could go inside if it's during the day, but usually these kind of safe exchange zones are parking lots that, again, are monitored, and you can just do the transaction out of your cars, and you know it'll be safe because you're just outside of the police station. So I recommend doing all your in-person transactions through something like that. And another thing I want to mention is it makes sense to build up alliances in Magic. I don't mean the actual set itself. That while I do think it's a good set to invest in because it's come down a good amount since the highs of 2022, or 2021, 2022, and around that era, it also makes sense to have alliances of repeat customers and repeat sellers. All right. I would say way more than 50% of my business comes from repeat buyers for items I'm looking to sell. When it comes to building out my collection and getting inventory to sell, repeat sellers are a big deal. So, especially when inventory is hard to find on the market, there's not much available right now in terms of vintage MTG across any platform. And those who I've worked with most closely are the ones who I've been doing the most transactions with recently. So in terms of buying, you may have seen my last video where I had the flippers. We had Larry and Greg, who I've done more than half a dozen purchases with now. So they are regular suppliers for me and still selling at this point. And we also have my storage unit guy. And basically, as you do transactions, you always want to make sure you have a good rating and good feedback from that customer or that seller, because you will want to keep doing transactions with them. It's a reliable way to keep in this industry. Vintage Magic is a bit of a niche market. The people that are in it are into it, and you need to build relationships with those people. And that's kind of what, over the course of collecting over 5 to 10 years, as you do that, you will build up a list of contacts that you work with regularly, and that's how you really get volume in this industry. So I happen to do a deal for a Fallen Empires booster box. It looks in pretty darn good shape here. Normally these boxes are more damaged. There is maybe a little bit of bulging right there, but it actually looks worse on camera. I can't even feel that coming on out. But yeah, this is a good condition Fallen Empires box, which is rare to have, so I'm definitely not going to open this one. What do we have here? Sold for $35 back in 1995. I like all those price stickers and things like that. Yeah, I'm not selling it for $35 today. There's always that joke in Facebook forums, etc. of, oh, the price tag says so-and-so on things like unlimited booster pack or starter deck or something like that. And if you haven't known, they've appreciated thousands of times over since they've released in value. So, and then in terms of the building relationships, I did want to second, things you want to make sure you're always leaving both parties happy, like that no party feels taken advantage of or anything like that. And just an example that happened that was a little bit unfortunate in this case, but I gave the seller a bit of a just thanks for, you know, getting these items for me. When he posted the picture, he actually had 23 different booster packs here in a picture of the Fallen Empires, these Alliances booster packs, and then he said, "You interested in all this?" I said, "Sure, I can offer, you know, so much money for it." And then he arrived, he said, "Oh, I only have 16 packs." I guess his kid took a few packs away of these alliances. And so when we met up in person, you know, he didn't want to like drive back to deal with his kid or anything like that. And we ended up, I took a little bit of money back, but I took back less than what each one of these packs is worth. I gave him basically a free like 25 bucks because I didn't have bills to break at the time and I didn't want to deal with that. I just wanted to make him happy. And he said he'll throw me a bone on the next one. So, you know, things like that, little things you can do, throwing in a free card or a pack when you sell to a customer, or, you know, just making sure both parties feel happy. It not only makes you feel good, because, you know, it's just nice to do things for people. It does help build a relationship out, and relationships and alliances are important in Magic. So just wanted to kind of mention some little tips and tricks there. If you get into buying, selling, flipping, collecting of vintage MTG, and that's really all I have for today. So thanks everyone. I'll be looking over these packs a little more closely, but I can tell they're all legit. They don't have, if you've seen my video about packs that do not seem legit, you can feel around the edges of the packs if they've been resealed. They should not be tight. They should be sealed, but very flexible and not stiff glue. And furthermore, you want to make sure that these edges have not been pulled away, like that's still attached there. And same here, that means this hasn't been opened before. So just a couple of tricks to see, for instance, if these storage unit packs have been tampered with. It's very rare that I come over any kind of tampered with product. So, you know, in fact, the only time I've really ever seen risk in tampered products, I think is way overblown. It's good to be smart about tampered products, like what to look for. But the riskiest, I think, are starter decks that do not have provenance. All right, so unlimited starter decks, beta starter decks, alpha starter decks. I have never owned a beta or alpha starter deck. We're talking about getting into the many tens of thousands of dollars to hundreds of thousands of dollars for those two. But unlimited starter decks, I've owned several. And those you do want to be careful with, that you have an expert look over the signs of any kind of resealing. Because I have heard a lot of stories about people packing the Wyvern cards into those and resealing them, all right? You've actually seen, I have a video, maybe if I remember to post it I will, about a booster box about what Wyvern is. I'll put it up here. I'm doing this because I look over my videos and wherever I point is where I usually remind myself to put up a video. But that's the only box of Wyvern I've ever had. It was at a collection buyout. But it's an interesting card game that people don't play anymore. It's defunct, but it brings back memories for people, and there's some interesting cases of Fallen Empires cards being in those Wyvern packs because Wyvern and Fallen Empires were printed in the same facility. So just a little fun fact. I'm done rambling today. That's all. See you next time. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.